Well, could you guys do We Talk Weekly a favor?
Yes.
Can you give us a drop in a melody type way?
Oh, a melody type way?
Yes.
Okay. So We Talk Weekly?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to do something like this. We Talk Weekly, come and hear us. We Talk Weekly, come and hear them. 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 We Talk Weekly, come and hear them.
Classic Lady Spark talking a fantastic noise. I love it. I love that whole kind of synergetic collaboration. This is really cool.
It just sounds so loud. I mean, when you're in there and you're excited and that adrenaline, and she and the team did such a fantastic job that it just was like, it was overwhelming in a good way.
Yeah,
so
in a good way.
I you just heard that come out of me. But now that I listen to it, I'm like, yo, get a little bit more quieter.
No, it's all good. We felt all the energy. But you already know what we got coming up next. We Talk Weeklies after the talk. Sizzle, who do we have today?
So we have Mr. Jim Lee. He is a North Philadelphia native and the oldest of 5 siblings. He developed strong leadership skills early on while helping his mother and working from the age of 12. He founded Lee Monument Company in 2004 and established the Lee Monument Foundation in 2022 to support families in need of headstones. Jim is married with 4 children and a granddaughter and continues to make a significant impact on his community through his business and charitable work. So let's give a warm We Talk Weekly welcome for Jim Lee.
Yeah.
How are you, my friend? How are you?
I'm good. I left Dobbins out. That's super important.
Oh, you definitely got to talk about Dobbins. Shout out to Dobbins in the burn. Give him a round of applause. And so let's talk a little bit about that. How was it? Let's start from the beginning, because you've been doing a lot of work. I appreciate you pretty much giving back, and that's what we like on the show, to be able to have people, the heroes, the unsung heroes that don't necessarily get their flowers. So we want to get that to you tonight. But I want to start with, the beginning. Where you from? How was it growing up that inspired you to be very active in the community like you are? And is it 5 boys?
Yeah, well, it's 5 of us.
It's 5 of you, okay.
Yeah,
no doubt.
twin sisters,
okay.
3 brothers.
Fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about that. Yeah, your family, your upbringing, and where you at.
And that upbringing came from 29th and Allegheny.
Okay, North.
North with an F.
No doubt.
She said it's a family show, so she said, we like family.
Yeah.
Like, we could talk.
That's
I said,
right.
okay.
That's right. We could talk.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
So North with an F. Went to Dobbins.
Okay.
Super proud of that.
Yeah,
alumni. Great alumni association.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, just came from a block with 5 Jimmies on that block. So it's
Which Jimmy? Who did it?
It's important.
It's
important because it kind of everybody calls me Jim Lee. Well, a lot of people say, "Man, it sounds like you're from down south." Nah, I'm from North Philly. Yeah. But we had Jimmy Brock. We had his father. His name was Big Jimmy Brock. You know what I mean? Yeah, my dad. And then funny. You know what I mean. And then we had another Jimmy. He was older, so we just let him just be Jimmy, and everybody called me Jim Lee. Yeah. And I didn't like it.
Okay.
And as time went along, I just embraced it. So when people ask me my name, I say proud. I be like, man, my name's Jim Lee. So you never meet another Jim Lee.
You got to keep them together, right? Can't break it up.
I told her the other day. She was like, yo, no, call me Jim Lee. Everybody call me
break it up.
No, for sure.
So, just coming from a family of 5, real hard working family. My mom, she really installed great ethics in us. My mom connected me with just like major people and entrepreneurs within the community. When she read the bios at the age of 12, I'm like, man, I've really been working that long. Yeah. But yeah, she connected me with a guy named Sam, And Sam, at the age of 12, he put me on I used to work a food truck in front of Pep Boys, and Pep Boys used to be in front of 33rd and Allegheny. That was me. That was my job on the weekend, and that was my job for the summer. So I kind of like always worked, and that's where it started from. My work ethics really started from.
Right.
I remember my mom sent me on the steps and actually going to go get a change person, teaching me how to count change back and how to look people in the eye and shake people's hand, because she really wanted me to be, be able to grasp things and get things on my own. So I learned how to work for myself at a real young age. And my giving part, my grandmother.
Okay.
My grandmother was just like super giving. Tell you a story real quick. My grandmother would always let people borrow money.
Yeah.
And it used to irk me.
My grandma did the same.
So let me tell you this. Let me tell you what she told me. So I said I had this uncle, man, and he just always used to borrow money.
Yeah.
It was a couple of them because my grandmother had a lot of brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
So she said, I said to her, yo, why? I said, Grandma, why you let Unc, he coming over here, he borrow money last money. She said he must really need it. I said, well, why you say that? She said, I'm going to tell you why he must really need it. She said, because he's walking from 17th and Diamond to 7th and Indiana in the middle of the summer to come get $25.
Wow.
He must really need it. And I was like,
no, that's
wow.
real.
Yeah, I just sat down after that. I was like, wow. Like, so it was like her analogy on certain things and how she used to operate and do things, man. She just was always like a super giving person. And she just always say, no matter what you do in life, always give back. So as that always just stuck with me, and that's in the wrap up, you know what I mean? Just pretty much just how I came up, you know what I mean? So
Fantastic.
That's what we miss, though. Those women.
Yes.
definitely.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you think about the blocks that you grew up on, and what was going on in that era, what do you feel like is missing from today in the blocks, that same blocks, but it's just...
Oh man, that's easy. I used to could get told on by the neighbors, or the neighbor would pull me in the house, or pull me to the side, or pop me. You know what I mean? Like those things don't happen no more. You can't touch somebody's child. You can't tell another parent about your kid and without them getting upset. But we got kids raising kids. It's just as things went along, a lot of things changed. But what will stay the same is the principles that we stand on.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So as long as we standing on business,
That's right.
you know what I mean, then we can do that. So I really don't look at how the neighborhood changed. I really don't look at how people change. Like if your kid around me and your kid doing wrong, if you had me around your kid, I might pop your kid.
That's right.
Right.
I may pull your kid to the side and sit him down and be like, let me talk to you for a second.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And I'm also gonna have a talk with your dad. I'm also gonna have a talk with your mom. So it's like, it's just we are in control of what we are in control of. We can't keep looking at like, hey, look, this. I'm not talking to this kid. I'm not doing this. Like, nah. Like, kind of like not saying that I'm Jesus, but remember how people just wanted to touch the hem of his garment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So the people who you're around, allow yourself to influence them. The dope dealers, the street dudes, I talk to all of them. I talk to all of them like they regular. And that connection that I have with a lot of people, I treat them the same as I treat the pastor of Deliverance.
That's right.
Versus the guy that's hustling on 22nd in Indiana or whatever it is that he's doing. I treat them the same. I get them all the same message too. Yeah. And because the end of the conversation is, I love you. Keep your head up.
There you go. There you go. I think that's missing, especially when it comes to the men, right? And we have been having a lot of conversation based around men. One, where are the men?
Right.
And this whole kind of political space, right?
Right.
Are the men feeling left out of the discussion, right?
Right.
And I do want to pivot there real quick, since you kind of brought that up. What's this energy right now with this political sector, right? Who's going to be president? We have Donald Trump, we have Kamala Harris, we have the button of the heads, we have, where is black men in the conversation? If someone was to ask you about where we are in this space, what's your position now as a black man in this kind of political conversation here?
That's a heavy question.
That is a heavy question, right? Yeah. No,
All right,
for
so
sure.
let me go into this first part. The first part is that, remember when we were trying to get Barack Obama into office?
Yeah.
Okay. I hooked up. I met this guy from the city by accident,
Right.
and I saw him walking around, and he was a scout for voting polls.
Right.
So apparently in the area that I'm in, because I have a store, we'll get to that a little bit later, but
Yeah, for
I'm down
sure.
on 10th and Godfrey. So what ends up happening is I see this guy, he's walking around. I thought he was from like L&I or something like water department, gas. I didn't know what he was doing. So I just went outside, I just asked him, I said, yo, you okay? Is there anything I can help you with? He said, listen, I'm out here and I'm scouting because the local voting poll was shut down because it wasn't handicap accessible and it didn't have heat, it didn't have air. It was an old church. So they needed a new place in order to not lose voters because that was super important. I was
Right.
like, yo, how can I help? So he said, well, let me take measurements of your place. Came and took the measurements. He said, all right, it's handicap accessible. Measured the door. That's good. He said, we could fit 2 voting polls in here. I'm like, all right, cool. So from when Barack first came into office, we literally had probably about 3,000 people that voted at our location. So I kind of felt like I was part of the reason why Barack got that. Like my 3,000 votes mattered.
Yeah.
But I lose money that day. You know what I mean? Because I
You
shut
gotta
down. And not talking bad about the city, but that little check they give us, that you got to be there. You got to open up at 6 a.m. And then you have to wait to 8 a.m. That's a long time to be open, running your electric, this, that.
That's
you know what I mean?
That's right.
And but for every election, city official, state, president, whatever it is, 908 West Godfrey has been a voting poll since Barack Obama came into office, all the way up to now.
Yeah, fantastic.
So that's the first part on what I
Right.
believe for as giving us an opportunity to vote.
Right.
Second thing, my personal opinion, man, it's a little on the left.
Okay.
It's a little bit on the left. It's not that bad. I ain't gonna go radical on you.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But I really feel like we depend too much on our politicians, our presidents, definitely our mayor, definitely our police commissioner, because a lot of times the tough questions that they're asked is, hey, well, how are you going to change and what are you going to do about crime? No, that's our job.
That's right.
They can't re-raise these kids. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of these kids that are out of high school, they have no jobs, they have this, they have that. Hey, but they also not looking. So you can put the things in place for them, but if you want to walk around with all black on, with a shicey mask on, and you looking just to get a quick come up,
Yeah.
how do we change that?
Yeah.
The city can't do that for us. We got to do that. So that spins off into, again, I'm not the type of person that sit here and just complain about the problem. I figure out, like, all right, what can I do? So what I'm part of is I'm part of a group called Men of Empowerment.
Yeah.
Men of Empowerment is a group of 8 gentlemen from all different walks of life, all business owners. And we meet weekly on Friday. It's important we have a prayer call, 8 a.m. All right. That prayer call is we pray for the city, we pray for our businesses, we pray for our families. We pray for y'all this Friday.
I appreciate you. Appreciate you.
So
we embrace
but
it.
we are working with Excel Middle Year Schools. This is our 3rd year. I'm super proud of this year because we actually have women part of our organization to come out to speak to and mentor these kids that's in middle school.
Right.
So these kids that are in middle school, our entrepreneur program just started this past Wednesday. That was the first day. So we usually talk to about a room of 50, 60 kids,
Right.
and then it narrows down to the kids that actually want to be in the program. Last year we had 10. We did super well with them. I mean, we teach them how to clean up their social media page. We talk to them about the do's and don'ts with social media. We are doing business cards for them. We are showing them how to do a business plan. It's very, very, it gets very, very intense.
Right.
This year we are doing a Shark Tank type. That's how everything's going to end on. You know what I mean? And they'll be able to do that in front of their peers. And we actually gonna probably put some money up for each of the kids. You know what I mean? We really gonna make them win something. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what men empowerment represents. Book bag drives, different things throughout the city. You know what I mean? So that's kind of fairly new. But the program, the entrepreneur program at the school, this is the 3rd year. So that's been going well. So there are black men out here that care.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And doing what we can do,
right.
You know, to change lives. That's what's going on. So I'm not looking for the politicians to change things. What is it that we can do far as, you know, the time that you have available? What is it that we can do? So that's what I encourage every black man, not even black man, anybody. Just,
that's right.
You know what I mean? Just figure out what you can do in the time, or your neighbor's kids, your nephews, and put some time aside, get with them, talk with them, take them to a Phillies game, take them. You'd be surprised. You can do a lot of things. And it won't cost you anything. You just got to reach out.
Yeah.
You can take them to Philly games and Sixers games. You just got to reach out.
Yeah.
And you reach out and you go to, you talk to different departments, human resource things. You tell them what you're doing. They'll bless you with some tickets.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It may not be the LA game. You know what I mean? You might be watching the Hawks. You know what I mean?
But it's still a game.
You still at a game.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
it's a lot. It's a lot of people out here that's willing to help you and do different things. So it's just been a blessing, man. I work with a lot of different organizations, Philadelphia Police Department, Fire Department, like you name it. Like I've done a lot of projects in the city.
Yeah.
So
I've been talking to a lot of men as it relates to this voting process. What would you say to, there's some that believes that their vote don't count. Why should they vote? You have some that believes, well, it doesn't matter who you vote for because it's still the same thing. What would you tell someone who is trying to exercise or handle their civic responsibility, their civic duty? What would you tell them? Yeah.
I get where he coming from.
Yeah.
I understand his feelings.
Yeah.
Why do they feel like that? Because year after year, each politician comes into office and he promises a bunch of stuff and nothing changes. So when you look at it like that, you kind of do start to feel defeated.
That's right.
We have to continue to believe in the system, if that makes sense.
Okay.
You know what I mean? We have to pray for the people that are the heads, you know what I mean, that are running things. We have to keep them in prayer. We just came so far just to give our voting privilege away.
That's right.
A lot of times people it's still not the answer for them. You can't convince everybody, but I do try to explain to a lot of the young black men, it's like, yo, there are laws that will affect you.
That's right.
So your vote does matter. Your vote does matter. And then when some things come into place, you can be like, man, well, when did it, man? Well, if you was paying attention, if you voted, maybe it didn't go like it. Maybe it wouldn't have went like that. But when you have another 20,000 men in Philadelphia that feel like that, the perception has to change with an abundance of them, not just the one or two.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's
So
right.
it has to, just like y'all jump on certain things, and that's the wave, you got to create the wave with that.
Yeah.
Y'all running around, and I'm saying it jokingly, but it's just real talk. Y'all running around with the wave, and everybody got the New Balances on, and the black, to this, to that, the hoodies, and this is 95 degrees out. Y'all got hoods. All right, so why can't y'all change the perception of your mind? And all be on it at the same time.
I want to get your response on this. I had a conversation with Spark. Classy Lady, why don't you tell me if you feel comfortable to talk a little bit about what you have heard with some of the young black men as it relates to them voting and who you voting for. And as a black man, right, I want you to kind of assess what she said, right, and kind of respond to that as it relates to your feelings on what she said. Go ahead, Spark. Yeah.
So, as you mentioned with Obama, there was a time frame of young black men being between the ages of 18 and let's just say 40 that weren't voting. Then during the Obama time, they did vote 18 to 40 because of who Obama was.
Right.
So here we are again from that time to now where it dwindled down. And it's the biggest thing is, how do we pull these black men back in to vote? Well, I have a 27-year-old son with 2 children, and he's like, Mom, I'm voting for Trump. And I'm like, yo, I'm hearing where a lot of young black men are now voting for Trump, whereas though Trump hasn't even, pinpointed that demographics or that age range. where's the rise in so many of these young black men who are saying that they're, I won't say Democrat or Republican. It doesn't sound like that's what they're saying. They're just saying that they're listening to what he's offering. What's your thoughts on that? On why so many in the high percentage of black men are now looking towards that type of vote?
Yeah, what do you think the connection is with that? Yeah. Whether it's, and not saying it's right or wrong.
Listen,
it's just kind of like,
all right. A lot of it is actually promotion. Promotion.
Yeah.
Look at the different artists that surrounded themselves and connected themselves with Trump and said, "Yo, it's cool to come on this side." You know what I mean? That's we've seen that, and I don't know the name of some of these artists, but obviously the younger generation at that age they do.
Yeah, for sure.
Look at Trump came out with some sneakers that look like Air Force. What are they? Top 10? Not top 10s. Dunks.
The dunks.
Those
Right.
gold-
The top dunks. Yeah.
Yeah, and listen, no hate. The sneakers look halfway all right.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
No, for sure.
So these things are appealing to our people. You know what I mean? So he's figured out ways to be able to connect with the young people where she hasn't.
Right.
He's great at marketing. Here's the thing about Trump, right? Trump is great at a lot of things. Where the disconnect for me comes in that is how he divides the country. Is he a better businessman? Yeah.
Yeah.
What was he famous for saying when he was approached and they said, "Well, you cheated on your tax"? He said, no, that just means I know the system better than you.
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
So I know how to
That's
fix
right.
the system.
Yeah.
So sometimes you had to have somebody in the system to understand the system to be able to fix the system. He just divides our country.
Yeah.
Look at when he says things about Mexicans and he says things about the Islamic. Look at when those people are affected and the crime rate that goes against those hate crimes go up.
Right.
That's super important. Look at those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that Trump. I share this one thing about Trump that I agree with. Okay. You have he talks about building the wall. There's too many Mexicans that's coming in. This, that. And he's going on and on and on. All right. I had a gentleman that was cutting my grass. Good guy. Had his whole family working for him. Had college kids working for him in the summer. Grass cut was $45.
He was Mexican.
No.
Okay.
He was Caucasian.
He was Caucasian.
Great guy.
Mhm.
Okay. But he had blacks. He had everybody working with him. He had, So what ends up happening is he knocks on the door one day and says, "Yo, it's my last day." I said, "What's going on?" He said, "I just want to thank you for your business." I said, wait a minute, what's going on, man? He said, "Well, I can't compete against 20 Mexicans jumping off the back of a pickup truck with no documentation cutting grass for $10. It puts me out of business.
That's heavy.
I pay leisure wage taxes, I pay city taxes, I pay county taxes, I got insurance, I got workman's comp. So I gotta charge $45.
Yeah.
I can't compete with $10 an hour, and it forced him out of business. And at that moment, that's when I realized what Trump was talking about. Sometimes you don't realize things until you actually going through it, or
that's
you
heavy.
see somebody going through it. Now, even though I agreed with Trump with what he was trying to do, because it is too many,
Right.
that's coming in at one time. It's not regulated
Right.
correctly when you have thousands and thousands and thousands of people coming in
Yeah.
on a regular basis, and you don't know who they are.
Right.
But it's what he says. He says that they all killers.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
all rapists. They not. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So instead of just sticking to what the truth is, he goes off track and he starts talking about other things and he puts those races down. And that part to me is not cool.
Gotcha.
So that's where the division of what comes in. That's the reason why I just, you know what I mean? I just could never vote for him because of that. I think if he, it's not going to happen, but I think if he was just like straight on point, it's like, hey, I'm going to run this like I run a business, and I think he would probably be successful. He probably would become president, but just his ways, and he can't get out of those ways, I just then look at what he said about the I can't remember, was it Haitians? What was it?
Eating.
Come on,
Dogs
man.
and cats.
Come on. That wasn't even a question that they asked him.
Yeah.
They asked him about regulations about something else, and he went into eating dogs and cats. Was like, whoa, wait, that wasn't even a question.
Yeah. No. 100% agree. 100% agree with you.
I think a lot of people, because I got a lot of people in my area, they all Trump supporters. And after
Really?
that, they was like, man, I don't know, but like, you know what I mean? They're questioning their guy.
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
If that's fair to say.
No, I appreciate.
I don't know
that.
if I answered your question.
No, you did. You did, because for me, it's about, you know, see, we talk about solutions, right? We
Right.
talk about the why behind something, right? And so oftentimes, if we, you know, just to be transparent, if we're talking about issues that reflect women, I don't want to talk about it. Me per se to try to answer that. I'm not a woman, so I'll defer to the ladies in what do you think it is? You know, why do you think this is the issue, right? When it comes to men, you know, me just being a man and having another gentleman here, if the young men are saying this, it's well, why do you think they're saying that, right? And you amongst these men too, right? You amongst the young bucks. I am as well. So it's constantly trying to understand a why behind certain decisions that are made, you know, and so that's where that question came from. And I thought it was interesting to hear Spark talk about her son, because I hear the same thing every time I go to the barber shop. Literally, oh man, I'm voting for Trump, or some people that don't even vote at all talking about they're going to vote this time because they don't believe that Kamala is in the interest of them. And so I'm always questioning the why behind that, right? And it's just interesting to see that, to lean over to one side just because you have a disdain for the other without doing your own kind of research, so to speak, right? So I'm not here to tell anybody who to vote for, but for me, it's about just perform your civic duty and do it well, as being informed in why you're doing it. And so that's kind of where it is, you know, for sure. Go ahead.
Switching lanes for a second, Jim Lee. You spoke about your grandmother, you spoke about Dobbins, the block you grew up on, and it looks, and because of your family business and all of the things you're doing, tell us how the Lee Monument Foundation was born. Like, can you give us some insight on that?
Yeah, I can. So we had to start probably from the beginning. We are actually a monument company first. So monuments, we build headstones, memorial products, things of that sort. In business for probably roughly going on 25 years now. We're the only African American monument company in Philadelphia. That's big.
That's heavy.
What I wanted to do was I wanted to figure out how to give back to my community. So that whole thought process came. I had lost my sister, Roz Lee.
Sorry.
I had lost her during COVID.
Okay.
And
because of COVID?
Because of COVID.
Okay.
Because of COVID. She's 35 years old, 4 kids.
Wow.
It just, it literally, that COVID thing, boy, we will remember that forever, you know? So that literally ran through a lot of people's families, not just, you know, it ran through my own family.
There was a lot of misinformation around that too.
It was. It was. But as a result of her death, my mindset changed.
Okay.
And because my sister, she was a heavy giver. My sister was a foot soldier. My sister
took off the grandma.
Yeah,
took after grandma.
Yeah. My sister was such an amazing person. My sister worked with field hockey. She was the team mom. She was the fundraiser. She was out front of Saw Place doing fundraiser. Had the kids out there. You name it. Also, she was working. She was working with man, well, I can't think of the name of it. When people are displaced, homeless
shelter.
Yeah, well, I can't get that.
Like unhoused shelter.
Yeah. So she was working with homeless shelters. Like this type person he was. All footwork. You know. So I just was like, you know what? I want to be more like her. I want to figure out what can be my lane. What can I do? You know what I mean, to honor her.
Okay.
And I didn't know. And I asked God, I said, God, if you can let me know what my purpose is or what it is I can do, I'm just putting it in your hands. Just let me know what it is. And literally, I'll never forget, I was taking a shower and it really felt like he whispered in my ear. He said, do what you've been doing, but do it on a higher level. And I was like, what that mean? And I thought on it, and probably like towards the end of that day, it hit me. And it's like, yo, I've been doing headstones for kids for years.
Crazy, yeah. So
Given
dope, man.
like different things that happen within the city. I've done a lot of these things that make the news. I've given a lot of headstones away to kids. I can name so many different situations. Like, yo, I remember that. Yeah, we donated that headstone to that family.